what do you need to film? Hello, I'm Sherry Barbera, and this is YouTube Bootcamp. Welcome. The first things that you want to do are equip yourself with the minimal amount of equipment that you can get away with to make great videos. You want to start with your cell phone. If you already have a DSLR camera, fabulous, and you know how to use it, fabulous, use it. But for those of you that do not have a DSLR camera, use your cell phone. Don't have a reason to not film. Microphone. Bad sound is the worst thing you can do. So when you're filming your videos, the number one thing is sound. If your content is awesome and your sound stinks, no one's going to listen to your content. If your content is awesome and you've got, or every other word, who's going to listen to that, right? So, microphone. Hi, welcome. Sit anywhere you want. Tripod. You need a tripod. This is a tripod. You need a tripod to stabilize your camera. And I'm just going to use camera interchangeably with cell phone or DSLR camera. So whatever you use, put your camera on a tripod. If you use a cell phone, pretty much every selfie stick can screw into a tripod. So there are lots of different attachments now besides selfie sticks that you can use for a cell phone to stabilize your cell phone. And this is one of them, and this is called a glyph, right? Right, honey? A glyph? G-L-I-F? Right. Glyph. And it's a really sturdy, stable piece of plastic equipment that screws into the tripod and is adjustable. Can you show that, honey? Yeah, just show how the glyph is adjustable. It just opens in the back and the top comes up a tiny bit so that you can put your phone in. And then you just put the back thing down, that's it. You always want to stabilize your camera. If for some reason you're out somewhere and you don't have a tripod, which is crazy because tripods come in every size now, lean against a wall, take your elbows into yourself and stabilize your camera, okay? That's the best way to stabilize your camera other than setting it down on a bunch of books and filming. Get a tripod. We were just talking about lights before everybody showed up. Lights are very important if you want to look good. Okay, if you don't care, okay, don't get lights, but people like to see what they're looking at. So if you're standing in the dark and there's no light on you, it's not nearly as appealing or enticing or even readable to your viewer as having light on your face. Okay, so you want to illuminate yourself. What do you do if you're sitting in an office, or you're sitting in your bedroom, or you're sitting in your production studio, whatever it is, and you're not going to be moving? You're just going to be sitting there. What kind of light should you have? You should have a light directly at your face. So there should be a light facing you. Now, this is an LED light that is adjustable in the back. It's got these little buttons here that will turn the light from cool white light to warm yellow light. That's an LED light. We love these LED lights. And the reason we love them is because they give off a ton of light. You can adjust the color so you can look warmer or cooler depending upon what kind of video you're shooting. And they don't get hot. They're LEDs, they don't get hot. They use a lot less electricity. They're easy to transport. This particular one comes with its own case, which is this case right here. And they're easy to set up and down. They come with their own tripods. They're just great. Now, ideally, when you're lighting yourself, you want to light you. You want to light your background so that you don't have a bunch of shadows behind you. So you want a light that lights your background. Ideally, you want to be, 5 feet away from your background so you don't have shadows, right? The closer you are, the more shadows you're going to have. So you want to be away. And 3 lights are primo. So if you can get 3 lights, you have one facing you, you have one behind you, and you have one that's illuminating you from the side. So you are always almost completely evenly lit. If you don't want to invest in lights right away, sit in front of a window. That works. The lights that you have, those work. You just don't think that you can't do something. You don't have to buy things, except a microphone. You must buy a microphone. So what kind of microphone do you want to buy? If you are sitting at a desk, there's no reason for you to have a lavalier. I am wearing a lavalier, the little tiny one that's attached to me. That is I'm wearing a wireless, but there are wired lavalier mics. You do not need that. You can use, very simply, a snowball, which is just a little tiny microphone. It's a condenser microphone, so it picks up sound pretty much like this. You will not be getting sound picked up behind you, behind the microphone. So the microphone's facing you, and it's very clear. And this is made by Motive, M-O-T-I-V, Shure, S-H-U-R-E. It's a Shure Motive snowball mic, that's what it is. This one is called a Yeti. I absolutely love this microphone. I think, is it a couple $100? Yeah, it's gone down in price a little bit. The Yetis are fantastic because they have different configurations for sound. So if you will be interviewing someone, you can set the mic so that it faces you and the person you're interviewing. So both of you can sit in front of the mic and it will pick up both of you distinctly differently. Or you can have it just face you, or you can have it do the whole room. It has a lot of different settings, which is fantastic, and the sound quality is awesome. It's a USB, so it plugs into your computer, which is also great. The snowball plugs right into the phone. And you can plug it into the computer, the snowball. Okay. If you are doing what I'm doing, which is you're walking around and you're filming yourself and you're talking, then those are very impractical for you. You need a lavalier. A lavalier is a little tiny microphone that clips to you, and behind you is the transmitter, right? You clip the transmitter to behind you, make sure you turn it on, make sure it's charged. And then this is the receiver. And the receiver plugs into the phone, and ideally, listen with headphones. Film yourself, go back, listen, because lavaliers are very tricky. And because of the wires, sometimes the wire's loose, sometimes you forget to turn on the right switch, sometimes maybe you have it on the wrong setting. Lavaliers are tricky. So read everything it says about the lavalier. This is a wireless lavalier. I am not connected to anything. But if you know that you'll be walking and talking but not too far, you can hook up a lavalier to your phone directly. And you will be wired to your phone, but you'll have a lavalier, and you can still move around. Yeah, like this one. That is a wired lavalier.
25-foot cord.
But it's a 25-foot cord. So if you don't want to do a wireless, which is probably 4 or 5 times the cost to begin with, a wireless lavalier is a lot more expensive. Oh my gosh. Do not put the tabletop microphone on the same desk that you are filming on. Why? Right? I've done that. Don't do that. Oh God, and if you have a portable hard drive or an external hard drive, which I have like 6 of for all of my videos, they are so noisy and they make this horrible humming sound. And so does a printer. I've sometimes put my mic on top of the printer. Don't do that. Don't do any of those things. This is what I do now. I have a separate table Here's my chair. I put the mic on the table. It's its own separate table. There's nothing around it. It's just a table for the mic. Then behind that, I set up the camera on the tripod. I sit at my desk. I have the window. I've got a light facing me. I've got a box light, which is sort of similar to this. A box light is a light that has a giant light inside of it that looks like a corkscrew. Ours, I think, I don't remember the name of that light. It's got a soft piece of fabric that goes in front of it. They have LEDs now that you can use. So we have 3 of those, and they're gorgeous and they work wonderfully, but this is so much better than them. We bought those first and then they came out with these, and now we have these. We like them, but we use all of them. I have a light here, I have a light in front of me, I have the window, I have a light that's going behind me, and then, because I'm sitting in my office, I put my overhead lights on, and I also have a floor light, and I just put every single light I have, and then I just check it and adjust myself until it looks good. Tripods come in basically 3 different configurations. That is a standard tripod right here. When I say a standard tripod, I mean it's just your basic tripod. It stands on the floor, it has adjustable legs, the head swivels. Honey, show the head swivel. Okay, it's got a little arm to make it swivel. It can go up and down. You can lift the top up, this piece, you can lift this up with a crank. You can unscrew this and make it higher or lower. A standard tripod has a lot of features that are worth paying for. When I say worth paying for, it's like $40. It's not a lot of money. A standard tripod is great because you can put it on a desktop, you can also put it on the floor, they're very portable, you can carry them with you anywhere, they come in lots of different kinds of material, from aluminum to heavy metal, you can just do whatever you want. Then there is the desktop tripod. These are mini tripods and they're just made for a desktop. And if you don't think you ever need a standard tripod, just get a mini tripod. They come in every kind of configuration as well. They're very inexpensive and they're easy to use. Lastly is the Gorilla. I love the Gorilla tripod. It's so cool. It's got every one of these little things is adjustable and can connect onto almost anything. So no matter where you are, if you do a lot of outdoor filming, you've got to have a Gorilla tripod. They come in every size, from floor to mini. Gorilla actually is the name of this tripod, G-O-R-I-L-L-A, Gorilla tripods. Everyone's knocked them off, so you can buy any kind of Gorilla look tripod. They're all great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Lighting. You don't want to look like this. And you will look like this with backlighting. And that's why you are silhouetted. You will only be silhouetted if you do not have light on the front of you. You can still have light behind you, but you must have light in front of you to not be a silhouette. So you can do natural light. You can do available light. And when I say available light, if you are somewhere, like a hotel room or something, you're on the road, you're traveling for a trade show, and you still want to talk about what happened in a video, turn whatever lights you have on and go for it. You know, don't think that you can't figure it out. You can figure it out. Just use whatever's there. Home Depot sells clip-on lights. They're like $6 for the frame, and then you just buy whatever lights you want. Okay, you can buy warm lights, you can buy cool lights, you can buy, you know, very strong lights, you can buy dimming lights, whatever you want. But clip-on lights are great because now you can put them anywhere you want. So now you've got light, you can have light shooting up if you want to do a horror film, you can have light coming from the sides, whatever you want. And LED, that's what we have. We love our LED light, but we have a soft diffuser on the front of it, because if you just use light the way it comes straight out of the box, it's too harsh. And you don't want harsh light. You want soft, diffused light on you. So even if I get really close to this, it's still a diffuse light. It's not a strong, harsh light. The other light that I did not show, but I told Barbara about earlier, is a ring light. And if any of you have seen those beauty people, they use ring lights. If you want to look glamorous, get a ring light. Ring lights, they just go right in front of you and they softly illuminate you and make you look extra beautiful. There is also Archon. Archon makes a ring light for your cell phone. So if you plan on being outside and filming a lot and you want light while you're filming, take a look at the back of this. These are postcards with a 20% off for Archon. Sheila brought them, but Sheila's not here yet. And you'll see this little ring light, and it just literally clips onto your phone. And as you film yourself, it illuminates you. Tom.
Have you noticed in your travels if anyone has complained about ring lights and on their videos and being perhaps too close to the camera? I watched a video just the other day. Great presentation, very well put together, hundreds of thousands of hits, but he was clearly using a ring light because I could see it in his eyes and I could not stop looking at that.
The thing about ring lights and what Tom just brought up is that ring lights literally put a ring in your eye that you see in the video. It's very distracting at first and it's pretty horrifying if you've never looked at it before, right? It is. But all the beauty YouTubers are using them. And what that means is that people are just getting used to it. Yes, it looks bizarre and weird. Yes, it's unnatural looking. Yes, you might think, what's wrong with, why do their eyes look like that? You know, like, ew. But after a while, you will stop noticing it. It will just become a part of the lexicon of YouTube, because it is. I mean, that is just a part of YouTube now. Editing software is something that most people are about. If you have a Mac, iMovie comes on your Mac. If you are a beginner, use iMovie. iMovie is awesome. It's more awesome than ever. It has incredible features, and Christiane's husband Mark did a fantastic tutorial on it, which I just sent out in the last newsletter. If any of you didn't get it, look at the last newsletter or send me an email and I can send you a link to the newsletter. It's an excellent tutorial. Final Cut Pro is the professional version of iMovie for Mac, and it's only for Mac. So if you have a Mac and you plan on doing your own editing and you want to be great at it, Final Cut has an incredibly steep learning curve, but is so fabulous, is so worth it. So if you plan on doing your own editing and you have a Mac, start with iMovie, get your feet wet, get used to it, and then get Final Cut.
When you say Mac, does that also include iPads?
Yes. Filmora. Filmora is for either PC or Mac. The thing about these editing programs is that they all have their own look. Once you get used to one of them, it's sort of hard to switch to another one. This is why I do recommend, if you intend to do your own editing, instead of hiring someone to edit for you, which you can do, you can hire someone on Fiverr to edit for you. But if you plan on doing your own editing and you're very serious about making videos and doing YouTube, then I highly recommend, instead of just doing something like Filmora, to learn Adobe Premiere Pro if you have a PC. If you have a Mac, you can do either Final Cut or Adobe Premiere Pro. But if you have a PC, Adobe Premiere Pro is the industry standard. Now, there's something called Avid, A-V-I-D, which the industry will say is the industry standard. Do not use Avid. Avid is for insane filmmakers and is very difficult to use. And there's no reason for you to ever even think about it. And the only reason I'm telling you is because someone will say, oh, but Avid is the industry standard, which it is. But for YouTube, for video, you will either use, as a pro, Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro. Go ahead.
If you're using your phone and you're out and about and you're doing a lot of, outdoor, and you're just using your phone, what do you do if you
can you edit right on your phone, or does this?
You can always edit right on your phone. The question is, if you're out and about, can you edit on your phone? Absolutely yes. This is software for your phone. If you have an iPhone, it comes with iMovie. If you're on iOS for your phone, of course you want to use iMovie. Otherwise, if you have an Android, then for your phone, I'm just learning about KineMaster, and it sounds pretty amazing. I would check out all of these and see what you are comfortable with. Because what happens is every editing software is different. Some of you may love one and hate another one. It's really up to you to find them. Every one of them will have a trial that you could test. So don't ever feel like you're going to have to invest all this money to learn. You don't have to. You can trial all of them. And even with Final Cut and Premiere Pro, you can trial them. You can trial both of them. But let me just say with a caveat about Final Cut and Premiere. Both of them have excellent tutorials that you can learn from. Sal and I learned, this is how long ago we learned, our local Apple store was giving business people free 2-hour lessons on using Final Cut. We took that, and it was a 4-week program. I think it was a 4-week program. We took it 4 times. Because the learning curve is so steep. Like the first time, and that was 8 hours, the first time we were like, you know, and then the second time it was like, third time, okay, we're getting close. And by the 4th time we were sort of like, okay, this could be fun, but wow, you know, this is a very steep learning curve. So Adobe Premiere Pro is the same. They are very difficult, but so worth it. So well worth it. Because once you are comfortable editing, you can do anything. You know, you can almost make any kind of video you want, including animated, including 360, almost anything you want to do. So thank you so much for being here. See you Tuesday. Filmora is for either PC or Mac. The thing about these editing programs is that they all have their own look. So once you get used to one of them, it's sort of hard to switch to another one.